Every spring, the skies of southern Colorado's San Luis Valley fill with the sight and sound of thousands of migrating sandhill cranes.
There's something about sandhill cranes. The call is really a primitive, it really resonates deeply within people. And of course, these birds have been flying across North America for millions of years.
Recently, that primitive call has been joined by the very modern buzz of this machine. This is a military-grade drone called the Raven.
Basically 8 major pieces: the wings, the fuselage that snaps together, the tail.
Prop is clear.
The drone was donated by the Army to the United States Geological Survey to be used for scientific research. Here at the Monte Vista National Wildlife Refuge, the mission has been counting and monitoring the health of the cranes for the Fish and Wildlife Service.
We need to do a good job of assessing how many birds there are out there so that we can ensure that there are plenty of birds, not only for the viewing public, but there are birds to hunt, and to make sure that we establish harvest levels that are appropriate so that we can continue to enjoy these birds for many, many years.
Usually, bird counts are done by a biologist flying in a small aircraft, which can be dangerous.
Seems like every few years we hear of a colleague that's either been injured or worse in a plane incident.
Drones like the Raven can be safer than manned flights, may yield more accurate data, and be less expensive to operate.
This is really cutting edge for us.
Launched by hand, then controlled by pilots on the ground, the Raven can be equipped with cameras that can capture images with resolution down to the square centimeter. But drones can still be perceived as a threat by birds.
At first, during the day, it did scare them, so we thought, oh, this isn't going to work.
But each evening, the cranes gather together in the wetlands.
They're pretty sedentary for the evening, and we found out that when we flew in the middle of the night with thermal imagery, the birds really didn't move at all. And what we actually get from the videography, the thermal imagery, looks like a lot of rice grains on a dark piece of paper. And so what we can do then is use software to identify the pixels that make up a bird, and then we can have a machine actually go through and count all the birds for us.
The success of the crane study has piqued interest in drone missions. Other scientists are using drones to search for marine mammals in the Arctic and fly treacherous runs over Idaho rivers to count threatened salmon.
And where it really helps is when we're in a tight canyon or in a real enclosed area where it's dangerous for the pilots to be flying in there to begin with.
Currently, the Federal Aviation Administration limits scientific drone flights to governmental agencies and public universities on an experimental basis.
I think that the Federal Aviation Administration and others are using a go slow approach on a lot of this because of the potential for problems as you get more and more of these vehicles in the air.
With mounting interest in the tools, Congress has directed the FAA to integrate drones into the national airspace by 2015.
If this technology enables us to do things more safely as well as more efficiently, we're fools not to take advantage of it.
From the Monte Vista National Wildlife Refuge in southern Colorado, this is Sean Patrick Farrell for the New York Times.